Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar where we're going to be focusing on our global programs here in the University at Buffalo School of Management, an opportunity to experience the world of global business. My name is Aaron Shaw. I'm the Assistant Director of Recruitment for our full-time MBA and MS programs, and I'm joined today by one of our global program student assistants, Janelle Fore. Hello, Janelle. Thanks for joining.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, and we're going to hear plenty from Janelle as time goes on here. We also are joined by two of our current students and past participants in some of our trips. Melkija Griffiths, who is a MPH MBA dual degree student, and Rich Van, who is a BS MBA combined degree student. You may have noticed that all of our information in terms of ways to contact us is listed below our headshots here. So feel free to continue the conversation in any capacity that you'd like, either over on LinkedIn or simply through email. And this presentation, along with all other previously recorded webinars, is going to be made available in our webinar library. So if you miss something, don't feel like frantic that you had to take down notes. It will be made available to view at your convenience in the future. So what are we going to be discussing here today? We're going to talk about what exactly are global programs before moving into each individual opportunity that currently exists, those being in Africa, Asia, Central and South America, Europe, and then we'll move into next steps in terms of who can apply, which programs you can participate in, so on and so forth. And then we'll wrap up here with ways to stay connected and, of course, a Q&A. So diving right in, what are global programs? And this is where I'm going to lean heavily on Janelle. So Janelle, take it from here and let's talk about exactly what global programs are.
Absolutely. So global programs is an opportunity for all school of management students to step outside of their comfort zone and learn about a different culture. Specifically, these are Experience the Globe programs where usually you would have the opportunity to travel outside of the country. We have pivoted to virtual where we're still working on it being virtual. This past semester, we had, I think, 3 global virtual experiences, and both Rich and Melkija can speak more to it. But with each of these Experience the Globe programs, they include 4 components to best replicate the in-person experience as much as possible. And these 4 elements include food, language, dance, and culture that give anyone who's hesitant a chance to really immerse themselves in a different culture and open themselves to different experiences.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that brief overview. So now let's talk about the different opportunities that exist, kicking things off with Africa. And Janelle, can you just take us down the information trail here as far as what students can expect to experience in Africa?
Yeah, so Africa is pretty unique because we work with interdisciplinary programs. So this includes public health, medical, pharmacy, nursing. We have MBA, we have undergraduate students, and it really focuses on the different cultural aspects in Ghana specifically. So students work on projects revolving around specific social issues in Ghana. They also get to talk to leaders. This past semester, we talked with Queen Mothers and other cultural elements like that.
Yeah, very awesome. And Melkija, I understand that you went on the Ghana trip, correct?
Yes, I sure did.
And what was that like for you?
Oh man, it was amazing, especially for me because that was the kickoff for my public health experience. This experience really made me realize that I want to actually study healthcare. Because although I went to the business and entrepreneurship side of Ghana, there were a lot of opportunities for me to make my mark in terms of healthcare, which is just helping out, kind of just going to the villages and helping out people find their right eyeglasses to help them see, or kind of just giving them like little needs that is available to us that we can easily get if we go right down the road to Walgreens or something like that. Just giving those type of necessities that you will see over there to the villagers and other people in Ghana was amazing. And I've never done anything like that before. So it was just great to see how one little impact could really make someone's life. And you talk about making someone's day. We were making people's lives over there. So that was truly amazing, unforgettable experience, and also kickstarted my entrepreneurship side as well, seeing all the development and seeing how far they have gotten in just over 50 years of independence in that country. So it's truly amazing, that experience, and I can't wait to go again.
And just to add to that, I also had the opportunity to travel to Ghana last year in person, and it was an amazing experience. One of the projects I worked on was called Flow, and it's where we educated and had a discussion with young girls and women in the village about their menstrual cycle, what's the proper ways to dispose things properly, clean yourselves. And that experience has been very impactful for me, just to talk to these young girls and women about their bodies and let them know that they don't need to be ashamed of anything. It's just the natural part of life. And speaking on the virtual side of things, this past semester, there from the medical side, there was a project called patient engagement, where you really focused on patients in a waiting room, how to keep them entertained so they can also inform themselves. One of the teams created a informative video that tells people how to correctly keep them clean and all good hygiene practices. And on the non-medical side, we worked very closely with Ladybird Logistics, which is an all-woman owned trucking company that's not very common in Africa. So students got to work with them to work on the logistical side of the marketing and financial side of that.
Which that's perfect segue, because my next question, and Janelle or Melkaja, feel free to jump in here. But given the fact that these are experiential learning opportunities that are kind of built into our programs, right? Can you share some of the dots that were connected between, let's say for both of you in your cases, the MBA program, lessons learned in the classroom, and how they were applicable to your experiences on this trip?
Oh, go ahead, Janelle.
I was just going to say, I always bring it back to communication, because you definitely get to develop your skills. And I think communication is a big one. Working with teams on the project when we were in Ghana, you got to work with students with different backgrounds, and to really put it into play when you're in another country speaks volumes to your communication skills. And I know I definitely brought that back to the MBA curriculum, because teamwork is all we do in the School of Management, the School of Business. So it really helped hone those skills and develop them.
To add on to that, I went when I was a senior, and so you were like Janelle said, you were able to go when you are in the School of Management in undergrad as well. So I went when I was a senior. However, we got to work with a lot of the MBAs. Those are kind of like our team leads. So similar to the project that Janelle was talking about, I contributed to a project that was involving coding. So it was like coding for kids. And you think about coding, we had to figure out how to actually teach coding to 11-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds without any laptops. So you can see how tough that would probably be, and where brainstorming comes in. And so we had to brainstorm different ways that they could create rhythms and techniques through hand claps, movements, and just organic body movements and rhythms and all that things, and creating a sequence. And that was, in a sense, coding for kids, and them learning how to do that stuff, and in an organic way. So that was great adaptability practice, as well as teamwork and collaboration. So I got to do that with MBAs, and by this point I was already accepted into the MBA program, so I knew where I was going. So I was able to network with some of those MBAs, as well as meet a lot of partners over there in Ghana that were also in graduate programs. So it's a lot of networking and collaboration. And like I said, entrepreneurship. We also take entrepreneurship class in our first year MBA, and we met a lot of organizations in Ghana, especially some small businesses. I remember one being Choco Love, and it was just a nice family that created that business, and they showed us how the back end, how they create through the manufacturing, creating the chocolates and everything like that. And that was just amazing to watch. If you've never seen how a business runs from the back end as well. If you've never seen that, it's just amazing. So a lot of great experiential learning.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Thank you very much for sharing. We'll move on now to the trip that takes place in East Asia. And so, Janelle, what can students expect if they go on this trip?
So this trip is specific for graduate students. It really focuses on the international business aspect. So you get to do a lot of company tour visits. You get to network with a lot of alumni at UB and just learn different aspects outside of the world, specifically in East Asia. And I think Rich could talk more about his experience.
Yep. I took the virtual East Asia trip last fall, and we did a semester-long market expansion project for rich products in Asia. And for me, I was assigned to a team of 2 to work with the Rich Products Global Marketing Manager. And we needed to research the opportunity to enter the market in an Asian country with its specific products. And we got the opportunity to use their paid global researching tools and also do some real life consulting. And there were 3 kind of knowledgeable professors just guiding us through and giving us constructive feedbacks. And I also got to know that the companies that have offered projects in the past include Rich Products, Volkswagen, Smiths Group, etc.
So Rich, to take it a step further, what sort of experiences can you directly tie back to this trip that have aligned well with your career trajectory in terms of preparation, maybe target organizations or functions?
Okay, so my concentration is basically business consulting and marketing, and I feel like this is just a perfect fit for me because we spend a lot of time doing research, and especially because I always try to make my research up to date. And at that time it was like COVID has huge impacts, and I went on those I used those experience learned from my business strategy class. And I also, found the website called USDA, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and we just found some really up-to-date information, like only like 2 months ago about, the food industry in Japan.
Yeah, excellent. So is it safe to say that this trip is one of the solidifying factors in going into those particular areas of business?
Yep. Yeah. Also, like areas like marketing and business consulting, and also international business. And we presented in front of those. I remember she's vice president of Rich Products Global Marketing, and a lot of high level staff. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Okay, moving on. The next trip is Central and South America. And Janelle, again, what can students expect if they were to go on this trip?
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to Costa Rica, I think 2 years ago now. And it was one of my first programs that I traveled with the School of Management. And it was an amazing experience. I was an undergrad at the time, so it really focused on the cultural aspects. The MBAs did travel with us, but they had projects, and we all got the opportunity to travel to a local coffee farm. So similar to what Kai said about we got to see the back end of the chocolate being made, we got to see the back end of coffee being made. And I'm not a coffee person, but I still thought it was very interesting to see like the beans being roasted in the sun. It was a very cool process, but it was a great program where you get to really immerse yourself. And what was really unique about this program specifically is that you had the opportunity to stay with host families. So you weren't at a hotel or anything like that. You were really with people, native people in Costa Rica, and they didn't speak any English. So I took like 4 years of high school Spanish, but I still forgot everything. So it was really cool just being thrown into that situation and being comfortable, being uncomfortable, because you really had to adapt to the situation and work with what you got.
Yeah, and that seems to be an ongoing theme with students throughout our programs is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I love that terminology and that phrase. And hopefully for the audience, you can see the reoccurring theme happening here as we go from trip to trip and talk about the different experiences. I think, at the heart of everything is a business, right? So you don't necessarily have to hear about, hey, there's coffee production that's happening here in Costa Rica and automatically say, I don't know about that. I would encourage everybody to explore every and all opportunities because the same way that a coffee company operates, logistically speaking, is the same as any other company. So, and as Rich pointed out, there may be opportunities to integrate yourself with marketing, with mall, healthcare. So there's limitless opportunities here. But again, I want to point out the reoccurring theme here being that everything is a business. And so these are all excellent opportunities to connect with different constituents as far as how to expand yourself both personally and professionally. So with that, let's move on and talk about Europe a little bit. Janelle, I'll turn it back over to you. And same question here. What can students expect on the Europe trip?
Yeah, so for the Europe program, students can expect really immersing themselves in local businesses. I know specifically for Malkaja and I, we were participating in the Hungary program right as COVID was starting. And our task was to work with a company. They gave us a problem statement, and our task was to give them recommendations, and then we would present in Europe of our solution. And that's like the main objective of the Europe program. You really get to work with business owners and see what their business is doing and come up with strategies to improve it.
Yeah, and just to add on to that experience, although unfortunately we didn't get to go, we still got to connect with some people over there in Central Europe, and some groups were able to get some kind of firsthand knowledge about what's going on in terms of medical tourism in Hungary, and that was specific. My project was one of to look at the domestic tourism within the United States and seeing why people choose to get procedures and surgeries in the United States and costs and everything like that. So the companies that we were working with could use that knowledge and kind of progress their organizational missions and goals as well. So like Aaron said, it's a lot of business oriented projects, and everything is a business. And see, if you're into research, there's a lot of ways that MBA students could get into research as well, because that's what we were doing, and we were reading a lot of publications. And UB actually has access to a lot of those publications for free to students. So I got to deal with research, and I got to hit healthcare and also business areas and other concentrations. So these trips are really just amazing, especially for your interpersonal skills and your academic and professional skills. You will really learn a lot, because like another theme being comfortable with uncomfortable, I live by that. It's on my wall. So you putting yourself in these experiences will definitely, if you want to look at it from a job perspective, you're already ahead of the curve, because you have done a lot of these experiential opportunities with diversity, with diverse mindsets, and with different people from different places. A lot of people aren't, so receptive to that, but that's something that is amazing. A lot of companies and a lot of employers are looking for it. So I looked at it from that standpoint, and it was a kind of a no-brainer to jump on all these trips.
And to add to that point, that is so true, because every interview that I went on in my resume, I had those experiences and the programs I participated in. And that's like an automatic, like, look at this, tell me more about this. And it was great reflecting on that during the interview, because I genuinely had a great time and got to do real life consulting and put the skills that I've been developing in the MBA program to work in the program.
Yeah, incredible. And every story that I've ever heard from a student that participated just really magnifies the change that's taken place in them, again, personally and professionally. So For those in the audience, do yourself a favor and really explore this as a potential opportunity for you while participating in our programs. And go on all of them if you can fit them in. But they really are life-changing. But to go back to a previous point, obviously we all as a society, as a world, faced the changes and the shift that took place as a result of COVID and in this new virtual world that we've all been operating and functioning in over the last going on 12 months now. So Mal, Janelle, Rich, if you have any input, what are the major differences between doing it in person and doing it virtually? I know that speaking to some of the incoming students for this current year, there was some hesitation, that they wouldn't get the same quality, I guess, or results from participating virtually, only to be pleasantly surprised by the outcomes. So can you elaborate and share some information as it pertains to, traveling in person versus the virtual format?
Absolutely. So of course, traveling in person is what everyone is expecting to do. However, with the pivot to virtual, global programs really tries to replicate the in-person experience, and that's with the components of food, the culture, language, dance. And from the past semester, that's what we've incorporated, especially for the Ghana program. We even had a vendor ship us food for jollof rice, and the reviews for that were great. It was amazing. And I think, especially for virtual, you still get the same opportunities to network with people in Ghana, to work with business owners in Ghana, and get that cultural experience from working with people across the ocean.
Yeah, actually, I got something to add. So, before this trip, I was volunteering back in China because I visit my family like every holiday, and I got to know this program like when I saw like 20 or 30 MBA students come into China, and then I asked the director like what happened, and then I got to know that they just visited different companies and got to know those professional experience. And I also got to know that former students of the Asia trip, they were able to get a job, and they talked about this project experience. It just makes you stand out from the crowd since you get more related professional experience.
Yeah, and just to add on to what Rich and Janelle said, they said it so perfectly. It's the experience may look different, but the experience is still fruitful and it's still rich. Sorry to use your name, but it's you still get that type of experience. It's just in a different way, and we're all going through a different experience now. Being in the pandemic, everybody is trying to scramble to see what's the next best thing and trying to adapt to what we're on currently right now. So there are a lot of nice programs, and there are a lot of interesting and just game-changing applications that can be incorporated. I don't want to give it out too much, but I'm a little biased because I'm also a global ambassador for global programs. So I kind of got to work a little bit on the back end with trying to find different ways that everyone can adapt to this new way of learning. So and global programs has done a great job at that thus far. Especially I did the global programs international class to India this past semester, and honestly, it didn't really feel much different because of the connections and because of the technology. We was easily able to share live videos of what's going on in India, and also what's going on in the United States. We were able to share that easily. Also, getting ideas for the cultural foods, and we got to see what our peers in India likes to do for fun. It was really amazing, and we have the technology here, and that's why I'm so excited for the new class to come in, as well as the current classes to collaborate on different ideas, and that's where innovation starts. So it hasn't been much different. It's a great experience still.
And I'd like to also add to what Kaija just said about especially the India program, the virtual India program. I also participated in that, and my favorite part of that was getting to know the students in Amrita University in India. One of our first assignments was, what are your perspectives about the United States? And that was the most spontaneous conversation ever, because there are some things I didn't expect to hear. Of course, you got the Tesla. We also got cannibalism, which I thought was interesting. It's from like the movies that we have here, which I guess I could see that. But we really didn't just, I feel like our relationship wasn't just, oh, let's get this project done, but we really met on a weekly basis and we got to learn about each other and each other's culture. And it was a really unique experience that I'm very grateful for. And also a part of the India program, we learned about Salesforce. That's something that was on my list, but I never got around to, but we were really encouraged to participate in Salesforce, and we learned about it, and we presented a project to a business in India from what we built in Salesforce. And just one last comment about the program, virtual component of the program in general, you will get what you put into the program. So if you are really interested in learning about different cultures and stepping outside of your comfort zone, this program will be so beneficial for you. Past participants in Ghana, their feedback was, without this program, it wouldn't be, my experience at UB wouldn't be the same. Their feedback was, this virtual component has been just as immersive as if we went in person.
Yeah, I got one more tiny thing to add, because you don't need to pay for plan or hotel fees anymore if you take it virtually. Like, you got all of the professional experience, all these awesome stories, except the time you go sightseeing.
Yeah, good point. Obviously, dollars and cents are going to be on the top of everyone's mind. So that's a great point, Rich. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about how somebody can go about starting the process of participating in one of these trips, who's eligible, so on and so forth. So Janelle, who exactly is eligible to apply, and what would somebody need to do in order to solidify their spot for one of these trips?
Yes, so it varies based on which program you're applying to. So for East Asia, it's graduate only. For India, it's also graduate only. For Ghana, it's sophomore and up. Costa Rica, it's also sophomore and up. And we have a new upcoming program to Singapore, and it's exclusively to School of Management undergraduate students. The deadline for the programs up here is April 16th, and you can apply as soon as today. The application includes a personal statement, your transcript, and some general information about you.
And what about for, as I'm assuming most of the audience is prospective students at this point, new incoming students, obviously there's the thought that potentially new trips will be available, like the Singapore trip. Are there other things that are being worked on, Janelle?
For the fall semester, we're still solidifying it, but that's what we can expect, the programs that we mentioned today, as well as Singapore for the fall.
Okay, awesome. And consistent deadlines for the future, do we know that yet? Consistent with what we have here on the screen for 2022 and beyond?
So it may change per year, but for this year, for the fall 2021, it's April 16th for the deadline. And for prospective students, we have on our page global ambassadors, so you can always feel free to reach out to them to get a better insight at a specific program that you're interested in, to ask them questions.
Well, you must have done your homework, because that's the perfect segue into our next topic, which is staying connected. The bottom line is, if you're a prospective student, if you're a current student and you're exploring these programs, we want to hear from you. We want to help you kind of organize your thoughts that are wrapped up in which trip might be the best for you. We want to help you through the administrative process of applying for and ultimately securing a spot on these trips. So with that, Janelle just mentioned the fact that there's ambassadors, but the global programs team is who's listed here on your screen. So feel free to reach out to any of the folks here with any questions that you have. But yes, of course, there's also on this same website, the ambassadors that you can reach out to as well. Janelle, anything to add here as far as staying connected?
No, is pretty much good. You can also reach out to us on LinkedIn. Our information is on the Global Programs website. I did just want to also add, just to finish it up, that all of the programs that you saw today, they include projects, opportunities to network, and visit companies. This is an opportunity to find out what you like and what you don't like, and be a consultant for real businesses that will have an actual impact and not just for a grade. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome advice. So, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but for the audience, at least what I'm hearing is that this is almost like a global internship. A way to really put to practice what you've been taught. And again, I've said it a couple of times now, but solidify a specific career pathway based on those experiences, because just like everything in life is a business, every business is globally connected. So it's a way to really see what you're doing here potentially in the US and the impacts and effects that has in organizations throughout the world. So, it's just like grad school is an opportunity to learn about you and it's been mentioned a couple times at this point, but grow personally as well as professionally. These programs present that awesome opportunity to really see that impact on a global basis and really nail down, hey, this is what I want to do because this is what I get excited about. For Richin and Melkija, any other pieces of advice or words of wisdom for anybody who's exploring these programs? Maybe they're on the fence about going. Any last minute thoughts?
I know for me, I know I had all this stuff and Aaron alluded to it, the cost aspect. And I wouldn't worry about that too much, obviously, since you could cut down on a lot of the expenses that Rich was talking about. And and since if you're going ahead of time, there is ways that you could try to fund the program as well. Just you have ample enough time to research that stuff, to see if you could get some funding to go, but you don't have to worry about all that anymore now because it's just a part of your curriculum if you choose to go. So that's just an amazing experience that not a lot of other universities can offer, except for, and not even a lot of other business schools can offer. School of management is very unique in that, in which we got partnerships with so many countries. We got partnership with 3+ continents. That's a very good accomplishment, and I've just learned so much about myself doing these programs. I've learned a lot about my peers. I've grown a lot. This is the time to do this experiential learning because you can mess up, like you can, meaning like in terms of like a communication. A lot of other countries like to be received other ways, and you might not know that, but it's better to mess up while you're in academia and rather not mess up when you get out there in the real world, especially depending on what kind of occupation you're thinking about doing. That can really be kind of like a bad thing if you go out there and never have interacted with different diverse cultures. So that's what has really been the best plus for me. And I plan to do way more in the future. And yeah, just thank you also for considering going to the global programs trips.
Yeah, I totally agree. So like your UB alumni like all over the world, and the managers of different companies, they're just willing to cooperate with UB School of Management. It's a really great opportunity, and like in the future, if you're trying to get a job or something, like during your interview, this project will be a really good asset for you to just to have something professional to talk about. Yeah, I want to thank you for your time today, having me.
Yeah, awesome, Rich. Any last minute words, Janelle?
I was just going to say, to summarize both of their great points, now is the time to participate in a global experience, to develop your global competency, to step out of your comfort zone, and to learn new things. And thank you very much, everyone, for your time today.
Thank you to our panelists as well. This was very informative and inspirational, to be honest with you. It's fantastic, and I always love hearing these stories. For our audience, stay connected. You know, we want to hear from you. We want to help in any facet of the word, whether it's admissions, whether it's these global programs, however we can help, we want to do so. And this webinar is just one of those many ways to engage with us, and we look forward to assisting you through the admissions process and beyond. So if you're exploring our programs, regardless of which they are, there's current ambassadors that are students that are living it as we speak. Connect with them. Personally, I'm happy to set up advising appointments to talk one-on-one. There are other virtual events that are taking place, whether they be information sessions, Women Leading Businesses coming up next week. Our military and veteran event is coming up next month. We have a Business Because event that's coming up the following month. So there's a never-ending list of ways to engage in that recruiting calendar link that's on your screen. There is how you'll find all of that. Big plug here for the podcast. If you are not a podcaster already, this is a great place to start. If you're already a podcaster, add this to your playlist. It's a must listen as far as hearing more from our students and the UB community as far as what they're experiencing, and it's relevant to what's happening to all of us right now. So it's again, it's an absolute must listen. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, the webinar library. So this webinar, along with every other previously recorded webinar, is accessible through that link there on your screen. And last but not least, social media. We are extremely active on all platforms, so feel free to engage with us there as well. With that, a big thank you to everyone out there. A big thank you to Janelle, Rich, and Melkija for sharing their experiences. A big thank you to all of our audience members for taking some time out of your busy days and schedules to hear what we have to say about our global programs. We certainly look forward to the future conversations and the potential of welcoming you to the UB School of Management family in the future. So for now, take care and goodbye.